Picture it now. You're sat there watching a show. You've been here for about 2 hours, maybe 2.5, depending on if the show is really long. Maybe you've only been here for an hour. Maybe it's a really short show. And it's gearing up to the end. We're almost there. We're in the home stretch, but we've still got a couple things to do. We've still got a couple things to learn. How can we express this in musical theatre better than the 11 o'clock number? The 11 o'clock number is a song found in Act 2 of a musical as we're gearing up towards the conclusion, where a character reflects. Maybe they have learnt a big life lesson. Maybe they've come to a sudden realization. And that change is delivered in a song. This can be many different types of songs. It can be a duet, a ballad, a big flashy group number in some aspects. But typically these are the second to last song in a musical. They don't have to be, as we will find later into this video, but typically they are the second to last song before the finale, where the term comes from, as Broadway shows used to start a little bit later, so at this point in the show it would be about 11 o'clock. You see what they did there? I think you do. There are so many amazing 11 o'clock numbers in musical theatre histories, complementing the I Want songs that are typically found in Act 1, but this does beg the question that was always going to be asked. What is the best I Want song in musical theatre history? If only there was a way to find out. Oh wait, yes there is. Welcome back to the Versus Bracket. You know the drill by now. This is how we find the best songs, characters, shows in musical theatre history by making them fight 1v1 until we have the best of the best, the creme de la creme. I have selected 32 of mine and your favourite 11 o'clock numbers, as I asked you over on my Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. And we are going to determine what is the best 11 o'clock number. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. I am the most chaotic theatre person on the internet. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do versus brackets and tier lists, and if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. But let's dive straight into this bracket. So, with the category of 11 o'clock number being fairly wide, there's some cases where an 11 o'clock number comes a little bit earlier. There's some cases where even a musical has multiple 11 o'clock numbers. For the case of this bracket, I have chosen my favourite out of the 11 o'clock numbers if there's multiple. You may also see through this list that there are some missing. Obviously, I only have 32 slots on these brackets, otherwise we would literally be here forever. So if there are any other 11 o'clock numbers that you'd like me to do, maybe in a future video, maybe we can do this again, leave them in the comments, we'll talk about them. There is one 11 o'clock number that I've decided to leave off here, and that is Rose's turn. If you saw the last video, you will know why. So let's go through. I've randomized these. Let's find our winner. First pairing, Legally Blonde versus Goodbye from Catch Me If You Can. Now, both of these are musicals where the show naturally kind of has two songs that I would class as potentially being the 11 o'clock number. In the case of Legally Blonde, there is the slower, the more soulful realization of Legally Blonde, and the more power anthem, flashy, show-stopping number that is the Legally Blonde remix. The thing is, I went back and forth on which one to choose for this one, but I eventually landed on Legally Blonde, the more slower version, because I felt that was more reflective and more of a star moment for Elle herself. A similar choice was made for Catch Me If You Can, because this show has Goodbye and it has Fly, Fly Away, which both could be seen as an 11 o'clock number. Both are star turns, but I went with Goodbye for two reasons. Number one, it's sung by the lead of the show, and number two, it's actually done as the second to last number, so it fit the criteria just a little bit better, and also I think it's the better song. But the question now becomes, which is better, Legally Blonde or Goodbye? I love Legally Blonde as a reflective moment. This is Elle at her lowest. She's finally spent this whole musical building herself up, finding her voice, and suddenly you get this moment where it all comes crumbling down. You see the relationship between her and Emmett comes full circle, not in the US version because it's please will you open the door. They put a door between them. But in more recent versions, we see that Emmett just comes straight out and says that he loves Elle, which makes for even more a bittersweet moment. And then you get into that final verse where Elle just leaves it all on the table, starts belting her life out. Ugh, so good. But then there's Goodbye. Goodbye as well. This character spends his entire musical running. Like, he's going from place to place. He's doing things here, he's doing things there, he's doing things everywhere. He's committing crimes and doing no time, but now he's realized that he has to do the time because he needs to do better. And this is him kind of coming to that realization of like, okay, you know, it's time. I've made my money. I've done these things. I can't run anymore. I've got to leave it all on the table. Got to say goodbye. And it's just Aaron Tveit selling the hell out of this number, just belting his life out, and you're like, oh, both could go further. And that is the thing with these brackets, as you're going to find out that even in the first round, we're losing some brilliant songs that deserve to go further. And honestly, right now, I would personally give this to Goodbye. Will I regret that because I'm such a Legally Blonde fan? Probably. That hurts, but that's the choice I am making. Next up, Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat from Guys and Dolls, and What I Did for Love from A Chorus Line. Two very different styles of 11 o'clock number. Whereas last time we had two solo numbers, this is an example of a group 11 o'clock number with Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. You get the solo bits, you get, Nicely Johnson giving it hell, and this big kind of realization when they're in the prayer meeting, and the way that all of the gamblers and the sinners join in with that. It's so crowd pleasing, it's so good, it's so bold, and I feel like this is a song that has kind of grown past the musical as well, which is another thing that 11 o'clock numbers often do. These are often songs that will go a little bit further than a musical, becoming big songs on their own. I feel like it's gonna be hard to beat, but What I Did for Love is a strong contender for that. I think the beauty of A Chorus Line is how you get to know each of these individual stories and how much you fall in love with these characters. And What I Did for Love is a great reflective moment, but I don't think it beats Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat for me. I think that song is gorgeous and so fun, so big and bold, and especially when you're seeing it, standing up in the round in the revival that they did at the bridge. Oh, that moment. Oh, you want to dance. You want to join in a dance. Next up, Oh, How Dare You, The American Dream from Miss Saigon, a 7 to 9 minute epic, versus Me in the Sky from Come From Away. Literally one of my favourite songs from one of my favourite musicals. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to try and argue the case for American Dream first, because I know in my heart I'm going to give it to Come From Away, because, American Dream is so good. It's the engineer performing this song that kind of becomes a satire of the American Dream, essentially. I mean, it's in the title. And the way it grows and grows is incredible, but Me in the Sky is such a beautiful story, giving us that moment to really connect with Beverly Bass, get a sense of her history. I love how a lot of the lyrics in that song are just taken directly from things she said. It gives you a lovely sense into her as a person, her achievements, her worldview, the struggles that she had, and her passion and her dream. While I absolutely love The American Dream from Miss Saigon, I connect a lot more personally to Me in the Sky as an 11 o'clock number. Even though Me in the Sky comes a lot earlier than an 11 o'clock number should, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we got a little classic coming in here, So Long Dearie from Hello Dolly, and a little bit of Sondheim. Move On from Sunday in the Park with George. I really like So Long Dearie, but I'm not really sure how much weight it carries as an 11 o'clock number. It's nice. It's got a really nice beat to it, and I mean, on all the different versions I've listened to, like Barbra Streisand and Bette Midler doing it, they always come across so well, and they perform it so wonderfully in this really stark change in Dolly. But I feel like it's actually the title number of Hello Dolly that carries a lot more of the weight. Move On from Sunday, I feel like is a song that I often overlook sometimes, but when I re-listen to it for looking at this list, it's so powerful. It's such a brilliant moment. I feel like here I have to give it to Move On. So Move On will move on in the bracket. Okay, how dare you. Cabaret versus Being Alive? What? I literally put Being Alive on here so that it could get further than it did last time, and now it's not going to get any further because once again it's been paired up randomly with the best Song, stop it. It wouldn't be fun if we didn't have these challenging moments throughout. Cabaret is one of the best 11 o'clock numbers of all time. Sally Bowles and Cliff have just had a massive argument. Their worldviews are really splitting at this point. She's unaware of a lot of the dangers. She's kind of sweeping it under the carpet. And she's coming to this moment where she's having to make a choice. Does she go with the person she loves, or does she stay with this career that she loves? And this is what it explores. It goes through the motion. She tells this story of this girl that she knew, and it just reflects on her so well. And she has this moment of screaming out as the world is crumbling down. It's essentially her moment of closing her eyes, whereas Being Alive is also such a great reflective moment. Bobby goes on such a journey through company. And finally, he, or she, if you're watching the revival, admits it to themselves. What they want. They're ready. They want this experience. They want this love. Despite the fact that they've been telling themselves they don't for the entire show. But if I'm thinking about it, Cabaret is winning this one for me. It is a personal favourite. Next up, we have Words Fail from Dear Evan Hansen versus Brotherhood of Man from How to Succeed at Business Without Really Trying, a musical with a title that is way too long. Look, Dear Evan Hansen is a show that my opinion has changed a lot on over the years. I first of all loved it, and then slowly as I've reflected on it, I've kind of fallen out of love with it a little bit, but it is undeniable that Words Fail is a great moment in the show, as Evan kind of has to face what he's done wrong, and the way that his choices and the things that he's done has hurt people. Brotherhood of Man couldn't be any different, though. This is even flashier than Sit Down You're Rocking the Boat as a group number. It is like old school musical theatre to high heaven. As we see Finch trying to find his way out of a potential firing after he completely screws up at the company. This is another song that just has an amazing build to it as the scale just gets larger and larger. Starting with just Finch, then joining in with a couple other businessmen, then the boss joins in, and we see this like avalanche of people joining in until we get these massive group dance numbers and everything. What works as a better 11 o'clock number is hard to say because they are so different very tonally. So it just becomes a question, do you rather have a big flashy 11 o'clock number, or would you have the more reflective one? And I feel if we're going with the typical criteria, I feel like Words Fail kind of fits the bill a little bit more, even though I'd probably say that Brotherhood of Man is the song I prefer. So I'll go with Words Fail for this one. Next up, we got a battle on our hands here. He's My Boy from Everybody's Talking About Jamie, the 11 o'clock number for Jamie's mum, versus Hold Me in Your Heart from Kinky Boots. Kinky Boots, another musical that had two numbers that I could class practically equally as an 11 o'clock number. If I do a sequel to this, I will include Soul of a Man on that list, because I feel like both of these are of a quality where they just match. Personally though, I prefer Hold Me in Your Heart. So that's what I've gone with, just to give Kinky Boots a stronger chance in this video. And you know what? I think it's going to get it. I think it's going to make it further. Because while I do love He's My Boy, it is heart-wrenching. And you really get that sense of Jamie's mum, that journey that she goes on, and reflecting on her relationship with Jamie. Personally, for me, it is Hold Me in Your Heart that speaks more to me. Mainly just because as a person, I share a lot of similar experiences with the character of Lola. Whereas, I'm not a mother. I don't know what that's like. So, when I'm speaking about these from a perspective of which song do I relate to more, which song means more to me, which song speaks to me more, and which song do I like more, I feel like Home in Your Heart rings more true to me, has a stronger connection with me, and that's why I'm going to send it to the next round. This is really funny. This is a really funny matchup that I wouldn't even have put together, but it's very funny. We have Memory from Cats and Raw from Anne Juliet. That's really fucking funny. Because what is a type of cat? A tiger, a lion. What do lions do? Raw. Now, when I put my thing out on Instagram asking you for your 11 o'clock numbers, the 11 o'clock number I was given from Anne Juliet was different. I was given, I'll find it now actually. What was the song that I was given? Somebody suggested That's the Way It Is. But I feel like the stronger 11 o'clock number, if we're looking at the criteria of a moment of realization, of a moment of empowerment, and also a star turn moment, Raw personally fits the bill more in my mind. I think jukebox musicals will naturally have a harder time justifying an 11 o'clock number here on this list, because lyrically they've already got that stuff set down, whereas something like Memory from Cats has, you know, been naturally made for that musical. But Raw is a great moment, especially thanks to the staging and the lift. As Juliet literally goes up on a crane lift halfway through the song, and it goes flashy and the dances and everything. It's a great flashy moment. And if you want like a show-stopping number, that's it. But Cats is the 11 o'clock number. While I'm not necessarily the most massive fan of Cats, you cannot deny the legacy of Memory. That is a beautiful song. It's a song that has surpassed the musical it's come from as well. But even in context, it's beautiful. You get the sense of Grisabella's place in life, why she deserves to go to the Heaviside layer. It's a stunning moment, and I think it wins hands down. Alright, we're going to the other side of the bracket, and first up we have Dying Ain't So Bad from Bonnie and Clyde, and Come to Your Senses from Tick Tick Boom. Again, Tick Tick Boom, another one where I had two choices of 11 o'clock number. Ironically, again, the 11 o'clock number here could actually just be the finale song. Loud and Words is a strong reflective moment for Jonathan Larson in that show. But I instead went with the song that they give just before the finale to his girlfriend. It's this really powerful song that just... oh, it gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it. I also really like what they do in the film version with this song, because obviously in the musical, they've always just done it with 3 actors, but the film has multiple. So there's a blend of Vanessa Hudgens' voice and the actress who plays the actual girlfriend, Alexandra Shipp. So you get this lovely blend of their voices. It sounds absolutely gorgeous. But I feel like I personally lean more towards Dying Ain't So Bad here. This moment for Bonnie where we see her really reflect on her relationship with Clyde, how she knows how their story is going to end and she doesn't mind. This is what's gonna happen. And she'd rather that. She'd rather go out side by side instead of losing him. It's a real declaration and a real summation of the love that she feels for Clyde. It's a beautiful number and it's going through to the next round. Next up, we have Sister Act, which another show that has multiple 11 o'clock numbers. Now, the song that I feel like I should have gone with is Sister Act, like the title number. That song comes more into the spot of a traditional 11 o'clock number. That song is for the lead, so it fits the bill a lot more. But with a lot of these, I'm sometimes trying to think about the song that I prefer, and honestly, The Life I Never Led is also a number that can fit the bill of an 11 o'clock number, and I felt was a song that had a stronger chance of moving forward. Versus Revolting Children from Matilda. This absolute anthem of celebration and revolt and freedom now that they've sent the Trunchbull away. Yet another group 11 o'clock number. The Life I Never Led is so powerful, so well performed every time I've seen it, because I've seen the current UK production a couple of times, where Lizzie B has performed, and oh my god, she sells this number so well. This girl who's only known one way her entire life, wanting and longing to try something new, see something different and be someone else. And maybe it won't go well for her, maybe it will completely fail, maybe it'll blow up in her face, but at least she knows that she's tried it. It's a wonderful moment, but Revolting Children as well has a strong voice. I love this song so much, especially for its lyrics. It's so cleverly written. Tim Minchin, if you give Tim Minchin a musical, you can expect some really clever wordplay in his lyrics, and it's a joy every time you see it. But with this, I feel like I'm going to go with the more traditional 11 o'clock number, which I think is The Life That I Never Led. Okay, next up we have Telephone Wire from Fun Home. This song breaks my heart every time, and I need therapy every time I listen to it. Versus Everything I Know, another song that I need therapy after I listen to it. Oh god. Both of these numbers are so reflective. In Fun Home, we literally see Alison placing herself back into that car, the final moments with her dad. All of the things they don't say to each other, all of the moments where she wishes, she longs that she had. It's Oh, it's so impactful, especially as she's reflecting on the things that they both know about each other, the places where they've had conflicts, the fact that they are both queer, and these experiences that they will probably never get the full chance to speak to each other about. It's heartbreaking. It's so real. And then there's Everything I Know, which I can say very similar things about. As we see Nina reflecting on her relationship with Abuela, reflecting on her life, how she came over to the US, and her life growing up with Abuela. These are two songs that I absolutely love. It tears me apart to pick from them. Personally, I think the strongest song is Everything I Know, but my heart and my gut is telling me to go with Fun Home on this one. Next up, oh no, we have one of my favorite 11 o'clock numbers of all time, a song that grew on me more and more as I listened to it, and more and more as I slowly fell in love with this musical, because when I first went to see this show, I didn't really like it. And then slowly I kind of saw a lot more that I liked about it. And it's really, really grown on me. That is 9 to 5. And the song Get Out, Stay Out. Versus a jukebox musical that has a really, really strong 11 o'clock number. And that is Winner Takes It All from Mamma Mia. As I said with & Juliet, it's really hard for a jukebox musical to have a really good 11 o'clock number. It's why on this list there's only really 2. But Winner Takes It All works so well naturally. It's already such an anthem of fighting back. It's a song with a clear stance and a real fight in it that really makes it suit this placement in the musical really well. Which is better? It's really hard to say, because Winner Takes It All, I think, is one of the best examples of it coming directly from a jukebox musical, but Get Out and Stay Out is just one of the best examples, full stop. With such a fire and a bite in it. With this character who spent this entire musical being quite quiet, reserved, shy, finally taking a stance and a stand. I think personally for me, it's close, but it goes to Get Out, Stay Out. Next up, we have a surprisingly good one that I wasn't expecting to make it into my top 32, but the more I listen to it and the more I reminisce on it, the more I feel like I love it even more, and that is Bab's Lament from the Great British Bake Off musical, versus I Don't Need Your Love from 6. I really love how the 11 o'clock number comes in 6, because it joins into the structure of the musical where each of the queens gets their own song. But by the time we get to Catherine Parr, there is infighting. They are all just punching down and fighting each other, and so Catherine decides to change the tone, and instead gives this moment where she's talking less about her time with Henry and more about her time before. Her love with Thomas, and that eventually brings us into the real meat of the musical, the real reason that they're all here. And the tone completely changes and we get the remix bit. It is really, really well structured, and placing the realization of this show, the real moral of it, into the 11 o'clock number really, really works. It's a long song, but oh, it's powerful. But honestly, I really like Bab's Lament. Bab's Lament is an 11 o'clock number that isn't really like the most necessary thing. Like you could cut Bab's Lament and the plot of the Great British Bake Off musical would be okay. But it's the charm that it has. We see Babs throughout this musical as such a cheeky character. You know, she's challenging not Paul Hollywood, and they have this really lovely relationship. And in this moment here, we get Babs' side of it. We get to see her kind of admit that, actually, you know what? Yeah, I would like a little bit of that baker. I would actually like not Paul Hollywood. It's a great comedic 11 o'clock number, which if you look at the rest of this list, not many of them are. Like, throughout history, most of the 11 o'clock numbers are a realization and like an empowerment and it's big and bold, whereas Bab's Lament is just, it's funny, it's sweet, which is better. I feel like I've argued a really good case for Bab's Lament here, and I'd really like to see that go a little bit further. So while I do really like how 6 structures its 11 o'clock number, I think it is Bab's Lament that will go further in this round. Next up, we have a fight between 2 very good numbers. No Good Deed from Wicked and I Say No from Heathers. So the thing about No Good Deed is that No Good Deed actually comes more towards the middle of Act 2. Some people may, in this case, argue that For Good is the 11 o'clock number. That has the more typical 11 o'clock number placement in Wicked, but actually No Good Deed is the realization. No Good Deed is the moment where Elphaba changes her tone and more so leans into that image that people think that she is. So while you could definitely say arguments for both of them being 11 o'clock numbers, I'd say there is No Good Deed that stands out more in my mind as what you would typically see content-wise from an 11 o'clock number. And, oh, it's really good. Oh, it's really good. It's so bold. It's one of my favourite Wicked songs. It's one that I feel like actually doesn't get enough praise because it is fiery. It is powerful. It carries that punch, but so does I Say No from Heathers. When they brought Heathers over to the UK, this song wasn't initially in it. It was written a little bit later into the run at the Other Palace. And I think it's one of the best things that they changed bringing the show over here. Obviously, some changes are better than others in that version, and there's some things that people like more and less. But I think I Say No, giving Veronica that really strong moment to actually push back against JD instead of doing that just with dialogue, gives her even more of a voice in that musical. And it's exactly what you need. It's exactly that, just complete clear cut. She has said all she can do. She has tried her best, and now she has to stand her ground and move on. It's so good, but which is better? This is hard, because personally, I have a lot more attachment to Heathers than I do to Wicked. I really like Heathers a lot more. But is I Say No better than No Good Deed? I don't know. These are neck and neck, and I'm going to have to make a split-second decision. And, you know, this is the thing. You have to kind of make quick decisions with this, and maybe you'll regret them. But right now, I'm going to say No Good Deed. I'm going to say No Good Deed moves on to next round. Next up, we have Gimme Gimme from Thoroughly Modern Millie. And I Know Where I've Been from Hairspray. 2 brilliant songs. I love Gimme Gimme. And Thoroughly Modern Millie is a show that I know a little bit less about, but oh my god, every time I listen to like a couple of the songs from Thoroughly Modern Millie, I'm always just in awe. I need to give like a proper full listen again to that cast album because, oh, it's gorgeous. And Gimme Gimme, such a brilliant moment for that character. So full of energy, starting really slow and building as she becomes more and more definite in her decision, in what she wants. But I Know Where I've Been. Oh, it's so full. It's impactful. It is powerful. The messaging behind it, everything. It's such an important moment in Hairspray. Oh, it's so good. But what is better? I'm gonna say split decision, splitting hairs. I think, personally, I like Gimme Gimme more. Oh, I already regret it. Do I change it? No, I've already clicked it. I can't change it now. Maybe I'll regret it. Oh no, we're going to keep going. Okay, and finally, for the first section of this bracket, we have She Used to Be Mine from Waitress and Electricity from Billy Elliot. 2 incredible songs. Electricity, honestly, I can't not think about the meme. The Tom Holland meme where he's on the morning talk show and they're just like, can you sing a little bit of the song? And he just goes, I can't really explain it. I haven't got the words. I can't do the accent. But to be fair, neither could the boys in Billy, so it's fine. It's this wonderful moment where you get Billy finally putting it into words, even though he hasn't got the words to express what dance does for him and how much it moves and empowers him. And it's such an important moment, not just for him, but also for his dad. So his dad can finally really, really click on what about dance makes him so impassioned. It's a really, really good number, a really great number, but it's up against She Used to Be Mine, another one of my favourite musical theatre songs. This is the summation of Jenna's journey through that show. She is at her lowest point. Earl has found the money. She knows that she can't now build a better life for her baby. And so she goes into this number about herself, about all the fight that she's lost, about the person she wants to be, and all of these themes that come to the front as she gets ready to deliver her baby. It's the reflection she needs to fight back against Earl. And oh my god, Sarah Bareilles' music here is just so impactful. I love the lyrics of this song. I feel like personally, it again is close, but my heart is forever entwined with She Used to Be Mine from Waitress. So, now that we've done the first round, we can go through the next rounds a little bit quicker and find our winner. First up, Goodbye from Catch Me If You Can versus Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. I feel like here you either go for Goodbye, which is the more powerful solo, or you go for the more iconic song. I feel like in the second, I'm leaning more towards iconic, so I'm going to go with Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. Me and the Sky versus Move On from Sunday. While I love Move On from Sunday, Me and the Sky, for all the reasons I spoke about before, the journey that she takes you on, the story, the way that you really get a sense of who Beverly Bass is, the way that she's been fighting, her passions, makes me love that song so much, and I have to send it to the next round. Cabaret versus Words Fail. While I do really like Words Fail, I don't think there is any universe where it can beat Cabaret. The impact and the power of that moment is incredible. Hold Me in Your Hearts from Kinky Boots and Memory from Cats is really, really tough because I love Kinky Boots. I adore Kinky Boots. Kinky Boots is a top tier musical for me. And while I don't have that similar connection for Cats, I can't deny that Memory is just so strong, so powerful, such a well-written song, and so iconic that it has to move on here. So while Kinky Boots and Hold Me in Your Heart has much more of a personal impact for me, I can't deny the wider impact of Cats. Other side, Dying Ain't So Bad versus The Life I Never Led. This is tough, because I like these songs for very different reasons, but I think if you were going to push me on it, I'd probably go with Bonnie and Clyde, just from the reflective stance point. And just thinking, which song do I like more? I feel like it's Dying Ain't So Bad. Telephone Wire versus Get Out and Stay Out. Get Out and Stay Out is such a powerful moment. One of the best moments in that show, and such an important moment for that character. And Telephone Wire just rips your heart out. It is really, really impactful, and from a show that I have such a fond spot for. But I think I have to give it to Get Out, Stay Out. I think that when we're talking about 11 o'clock numbers and we're talking about a star turn, I feel like that gives it just the edge to take it over a show that I have such a love for. Bab's Lament versus No Good Deed. I feel like I was very nice on Bab's Lament. I love Bab's Lament, but when you're comparing it to other 11 o'clock numbers that have the oomph, I don't think it quite has that, and I think No Good Deed does. While I love Babs Lament, I wish it could go further, I think I do have to give this to No Good Deed. Gimme Gimme versus She Used to Be Mine from Waitress. I feel like this is a no-brainer for Waitress on this round. I love Waitress. I love the impact of that moment. The way it builds Cerberus' lyrics. While Gimme Gimme is so fun, such a great tune with a melody that just gets stuck in my head, I feel like She Used to Be Mine is stronger. Okay, back to the start again. Let's go. Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat versus Me and the Sky. You know what I'm going to say. Me and the Sky, so good. Cabaret versus Memory from Cats. This is tough because, again, I feel like Memory is more iconic, but I like Cabaret a lot more. These are two of the strongest 11 o'clock numbers of all time. Again, like you find often in these brackets, this is a finale pairing. This is one that I could see at the end, but if I was being pushed on it, which song tells me more about the character? Which song brings me into their worldview? Which song is that more impactful punch? I personally think it is Cabaret, but Cats is neck and neck with it. Cats is so iconic, so good. It hurts to cut it here, but I feel like it is the right decision for me. Other side of the bracket, Dying Ain't So Bad versus Get Out, Stay Out. Ooh, while I really like Bonnie and Clyde, again, I feel like Get Out and Stay Out is just, like, when I think of 11 o'clock numbers from more modern musical theatre, Get Out, Stay Out is the first thing that comes to mind. I feel like for that, it's got to go to Get Out, Stay Out. And then No Good Deed versus She Used to Be Mine. A tough one, a really tough one. But again, for similar reasons that I said for Me in the Sky, I have more of an attachment to Waitress. I have a more of an attachment to She Used to Be Mine. I feel like that also has the more natural placement of an 11 o'clock number as well. These tiny little things are the hairs that I am splitting to give it to Waitress at this point. So, semi-final. Oh, I know that these four are going to be tough to choose between. I know that the first choice I have to make is the hardest of them all. And I know I've got to make it. Because honestly, this is my finale matchup. This is what it should be. I feel like whatever I pick here is probably going to be the winner. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, because you've got, on the one hand, Me in the Sky from my favorite musical. I would say, if not the, then one of my favorite musical theatre songs of all time. You get so much about Beverly Bass. It's such a positive moment. And then that change at the end, the reflection on where she currently is. There's so much in there, so much story, so much empowerment. It's such a brilliant moment, coming at the exact right time and come from away for it to really get that impact. But then there's Cabaret. Cabaret, just this absolute summation of the entire theme of the musical. Turning a blind eye, looking away from these things, and then you get the punch of it. Beautifully performed every time I've seen it. It's one of the best musical theatre numbers ever written. It is so tough to pick between these two. I wish I could send them both through. Whichever one I'm not picking is my third place, and I'm telling you that right now. But right now, picking between these two, this is honestly the most difficult decision. Two of my favourites paired against each other, and I have to make a snap decision. Whatever I choose now, I'm delaying it because I don't want to know yet. I'm struggling so hard. I know what I have to do, and I don't know if I have the strength to do it. I want to give this to Cabaret. Out of all of these videos, this is the toughest choice I've ever had to make. This is the toughest call. I think Cabaret just takes it. Just. Especially thanks to its placement. Similar reason that She Used to Be Mine got through the last round. Its placement in the show is so powerful. So much of the themes of the show, so much has come to a head. And this is that moment in the show where you just get an entire reflection on all of it. On Cliff's story, on Sally's story, the knowledge that they are going to have to split apart. The voices in the background, it all comes to a head in the title number Cabaret. And oh, it is powerful. That is a choice I'm making. I wish I could take Me in the Sky further though. I wish. But we now come to the other side of the bracket. What is going to be meeting Cabaret in the finale? What is the song that can challenge Cabaret? Is it Get Out and Stay Out from 9 to 5, or is it She Used to Be Mine from Waitress? But which of these two musicals that were across the street from each other on the Strand when they both played in London, which of these is the stronger one? And personally, I thought when I clicked on this that I would be giving it to She Used to Be Mine, but the more I think about it, Get Out and Stay Out is so good. Dolly Parton is so good at writing musicals. It is not a credit I gave enough to her, and that's why I'm so excited. I'm so excited for her to write more musicals, because 9 to 5's music and its lyrics are beautiful. And Get Out, Stay Out is just that moment. It is that moment. It is a moment where everything comes to a head. You see the growth of this character. You see everything that she has learnt, and you finally get that moment where she gets to say no. Not, I say no, that went out in the first round. While I love She Used to Be Mine, I think it is incredible, and it has got to a placement I'm very happy with. Get Out, Stay Out is my finale pick. So, this is not the pairing I expected for the finale. I will tell you that right now. I expected it to be very different. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who would win out of these two for you? Or, if you want to, break down the entire bracket. The joy of these videos is that everyone doing this bracket will have different choices. My favorite comments on every single one of these videos are the ones where people just break down the entire thing. I love seeing how everyone differs and the choices that you make. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments. But we come to my top two. Cabaret from Cabaret and Get Out, Stay Out from 9 to 5. And while I think Get Out, Stay Out is a good challenger, I think it is Cabaret that takes the crown for this list. It is the 11 o'clock number for me. It is the first thing I think about. And while Get Out, Stay Out is a great modern challenger to that, when I think of modern 11 o'clock numbers, that comes straight to my mind. But Cabaret is the 11 o'clock number. It is such a summation of everything about that show. You see Sally's choice. You know what she's going to choose. You get the heartbreak that's about to come. And you know what she has set herself up for. You know what's going to happen to her. You know what's going to happen in this country in the next coming years. And you know how she is essentially just covering her ears to it. It is so challenging as a number. Such a perfect example of why Cabaret is such an important show. I think this goes to Cabaret. But as I said, this is always so subjective. So what are your thoughts? What is your favorite 11 o'clock number of all time? Let me know in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me. It helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you want to drop me a follow over there. I also have other links to socials and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.